Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is the first meeting of February of 2024, meeting of the Daviess County Fiscal Court. And Commissioner Castlen, if you would lead us in the prayer and the pledge of allegiance.
Please bow your heads and pray with me. God in heaven, as we come before you today, we thank you for the many opportunities this day brings to serve our community while also serving you. Thank you for the challenges and opportunities you send us each day that allow us to be a reflection of your love and faithfulness to everyone we encounter. Thank you for allowing us to live in a country where we are free to disagree with others, but please help us to grow in our understanding of one another while respecting our differences, knowing that each of us is unique and created in your likeness. Thank you for the change of seasons and bringing us sunlight after the dark days we've had. We ask that you bless the leaders of our community, whether they are formal or informal leaders, to have the wisdom and strength for guiding us in a direction that leads us to you. And finally, as we recognize February as Black History Month, please help guide our community leaders to have the courage to recognize the significance of the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. when he said, "The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy." Father, please help us to always be standing on your side. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
One, consideration for presentation. A, Treasurer's Report for December of 2023.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes, Judge. As of December 31st, 23, total cash balance is $71,695,208 for all funds. General fund balance is $34,168,028. Minus operating reserve and restricted funds, cash for general fund operations is $25,364,189. All variances within the Treasurer's Report are normal, expected, and explainable. All departmental activity is within our expected ranges to date. And as we have discussed, the general fund receives a large portion of its operating revenue in December through February through property taxes and other revenues that are received at this time of year. Whereas November is typically our lowest cash balance point of any given year, January and February is typically our highest. I have nothing to report.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Johnson?
No.
Hearing none. Next item, Brooke.
B, amend official receipt for property tax bills for 2023.
Mr. Johnson.
The State Office of Property Valuation issues the operating manuals for tax duties that the Sheriff and Clerk's Office are required to follow. Those regulations require that the county clerk ensure and ultimately certify that fiscal court enters the final official receipt for property tax bills of any given year into the fiscal court order book. Since fiscal court is a court of record, and since this receipt requires no approval by the legislative body, we accomplish this by including it on the agenda for presentation such that it is recorded appropriately.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Johnson?
No.
Hearing none. Next item, Brooke.
2, consideration for approval. A, minutes of the January 25th, 2024 Daviess County Fiscal Court meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. We've all had the minutes for a little bit. Are there any corrections, deletions, or adjustments?
No.
Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
B, all claims for all departments.
Motion to approve?
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. We've had the bills due and payable for Daviess County Fiscal Court for a bit. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Johnson?
No.
Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
C, easement for new power supply at Yellow Creek Park.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Mr. Rowe.
Good evening. Jordan Rowe, Director of Parks and Public Information. Regarding this item C on the agenda tonight, Kenergy is requesting a 12-foot easement at Yellow Creek Park And with your approval, a contractor would bore a new underground line that would provide a more stable, reliable 7,200-volt service. This line will replace a portion of the existing underground service that has deteriorated due to age. We are expecting that, again, with your approval, work would start in the next several weeks and be completed prior to romp. We anticipate very little impact as much of the work is going to be underground. And so this is just going to give us the confidence and reliability we need to continue servicing the park and also our large events. So again, I would request your approval.
Any questions for Mr. Rowe?
No.
Hearing none. Thank you, sir. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
D, contract with Casabella Pyrotechnics for pyrotechnic display at Yellow Creek Park.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
And a motion second. Mr. Johnson.
This contract with Casabella Pyrotechnics in the amount of $8,500 is for the fireworks display that is scheduled for July 5th of '24 at Yellow Creek Park. It should be noted that this contract is separate from the contract with the Eric Group that was approved in fiscal court session of January 25th of '24 that will provide light entertainment for the event. Legal and myself have reviewed it, and we see no issues.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Johnson?
No.
No.
Any questions from the public? I'd like to just say to the public, since we've got some folks here with us today, I would invite all of you. This will be July 5th at Yellow Creek Park. So mark your calendars. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
E, Kentucky Emergency Management Time and Attendance Reporting Timesheets for employees of the Daviess County Emergency Management Agency effective October 1 of 2023.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Got a motion second. Mr. Johnson.
This item is a confirmation to the state EMA that we are utilizing the required time reporting format for employees of our County Emergency Management Agency. Reporting EMA's hours worked in the correct format makes us eligible to receive 50% of select employees' salaries as reimbursement. Fiscal Court has been issuing this confirmation for many years, and it is a standard item for all counties. You'll notice that the effective date is October 1st of 2023, which is the beginning of the federal fiscal year. Since the reimbursement funds for this program that flow through the state originate at the federal level, they request that effective date for the confirmation. I would recommend approval.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Johnson?
No.
No.
Any questions from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
F, County Jailers Annual Incentive Payment for court year of 2024.
I'll second.
Got a motion second. Mr. Johnson.
For certain elected officials, upon completion of 40 hours of training per KRS 64 5275 Section 6, Fiscal Court is required to pay the incentive payment directed by a letter from the Department for Local Government. Attached is the letter for Jailer Maglinger. Although this payment is required, it must still be reviewed and approved by Fiscal Court. I would recommend approval.
Any questions for Mr. Johnson?
No.
Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
G, Resolution 04-2024, Grant Assistant Agreement between the Kentucky Infrastructure Authority and the Commonwealth of Kentucky and Daviess County Fiscal Court for the Daviess County Fiscal Court Hydrants Project.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Got a motion second. Mr. Johnson.
Yes, Judge, this is the resultant grant assistance agreement with the Kentucky Infrastructure Authority for grant funds in the amount of $1,174,154 for the Daviess County Fiscal Court Hydrants Project. As a recap, this project is for Fiscal Court to consult with engineers in the county fire department to determine where additional hydrants need to be installed in the Daviess County Water District, Whitesville, and East Daviess County Water Association systems to improve fire protection across the county. The resolution that you have in your binders and exhibits are requirements of the grant agreement. I would recommend approval.
Any questions for Mr. Johnson?
No.
No.
Any questions from the public? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
H, Resolution 05-2024, Community Development Block Grant Program Cost Overrun Responsibility.
Motion to approve?
I'll second.
Got a motion second. Mr. Johnson.
The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development requires that Fiscal Court pass a resolution stating that Fiscal Court will be financially responsible for any cost overruns associated with the project as opposed to the pass-through agency, which in this grant would be the Kentucky Department for Local Government. This resolution is required to accompany the submission such that all parties are assured of the fact that cost overruns will be handled at the local level. However, we pass this responsibility on to Habitat for Humanity in the legally binding agreement that we approved in the last court meeting. I would recommend approval.
Any questions for Mr. Johnson?
No.
Any questions from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
I, award RFQ 2324-49, Clerk Storage Pay Window Project, Judicial Center.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
Got a motion and a second. Mr. Johnson.
Circuit Court Clerk Jennifer Basecker has requested that Fiscal Court renovate the clerk storage room on the 4th floor of the Morton J. Holbrook Judicial Center in order to add a pay window to receive court fees for the Circuit Court Clerk's office. Currently, there is no pay window on that floor. The Administrative Office of the Courts has agreed to reimburse the project in full, as is their normal practice for building modification requests of AOC employees or officials. We are recommending award to the lowest and best evaluated quote submitted by M&W Construction in the amount of $12,450. M&W Construction is a known vendor. There were no exceptions to our specifications, and I would recommend approval.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Johnson?
No.
Any questions from the audience? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
J, hire Keith Stallings as Building and Grounds Technician, effective February 5th of 2024.
Motion to approve?
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. I want to thank Mr. Stallings for welcoming him to our group and thank him for agreeing to join us. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
K, hire Daniel Hatcher as Truck Driver 1, effective February 5th of 2024.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. I want to again welcome Mr. Hatcher to our truck driving team and thank him for agreeing to join us. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
L, hire Michael Reed as Truck Driver 1, effective February 5th of 2024.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Again, I just want to welcome Mr. Reed to our team of truck drivers and thank him for agreeing to join us. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
3, consideration for discussion. A, other business to be brought before the Daviess County Fiscal Court.
You have any?
There is none that I'm aware of.
Okay.
B, public comments.
This is the part of the meeting where we invite those who are sitting in the audience, if you wish to come up and speak about anything that was not on the agenda, we ask that you come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. And
Good evening. My name is Kathy Walker. I live on 2102 Meadow Hill Drive in Utica, Kentucky, and I'm here representing the Coalition for an Inclusive Daviess County, and have a statement concerning the 2 candidates that were sent to you to be looked over for the library board open seat. We, the members of the Coalition of an Inclusive Daviess County, are united in our support of the 2 candidates recommended for positions on the Daviess County Public Library Board of Directors. We feel these 2 candidates are more than qualified for these positions, and we offer the following facts in support of our position. Sister Judith Nell Riney is native to the Daviess County area and has spent her life as a professional educator and working in library services. In 1965, she began working as a part-time librarian at the Owensboro Daviess County Public Library. She embarked on her classroom teaching career in 1967. She was soon appointed assistant librarian at Brescia University. Working with the Catholic University of America, she then attained library American Library Association credentials required to direct an academic library. During her more than 42 years at Brescia, she has played a major role in guiding the Brescia Library into the 21st century. Carrie Wilkerson is a current high school librarian, a former elementary librarian, and a former middle school and high school English teacher. She earned her BA in English at Eastern Kentucky University, where she also worked in the reference section of the university library for 3 years. She also holds an earned Master of Arts in Education and a Master of Library Science from Western Kentucky University. She is currently president of the Kentucky Association of School Librarians and has held leadership positions on several other Kentucky library boards. Both of these nominees are obviously very highly qualified for these positions. They were selected by the current members of the Daviess County Public Library Board of Directors in a public meeting attended by 20 to 25 members of the public. The Coalition for an Inclusive Daviess County fully supports the Daviess County Public Library Board in their continued advancement of our library's mission, and we fully stand behind these nominees. We urge the Fiscal Court to honor these recommendations of the Daviess County Public Library Board. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that wishes to speak on any item that was not on the agenda?
Just real quick, hey, Judge, Exec, Commissioners.
Your name,
Thank you
name
for-
and address for the record, please.
Michael Johnson, 111 Sycamore Street. I just wanted to invite the viewers and everyone here to the Performing Arts Center on Saturday, February the 10th, for a Zydeco experience. Terrence Simeon is going to be coming here to the Performing Arts Center. It's going to be a great show for all families. A little bit about him. For over 40 years, two-time Grammy Award-winning, eighth-generation Louisiana Creole Terrence Simeon has been shattering the myths and often misinformation about what his traditional Zydeco roots music is and is not. It mostly certainly is American roots music, and it is music born of the Black and mixed race French-speaking Creole of South Louisiana. Zydeco is dynamic and evolving, remaining relevant to allow its artists to express themselves within their genre without constraints. So I just wanted to invite everyone to the River Park Center February 10th for that show. It's at 7 p.m. Get your tickets while you can. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate the invitation. Anyone else wish to speak to anything that was not on the agenda? Okay, next item, Brooke.
C, comments by Daviess County Fiscal Court.
Commissioner Condor.
Thank you, Judge. We do have a lot of guests in the People's House tonight. One in particular, and maybe Mrs. Randolph could introduce her to us, I think. The little one that's here. We always see adults that are here, but when we have a small child that is here probably by not her own choice, I'm guessing, it's great to see a little one here. So, even though she does still have her lollipop going on, that's a good thing. So it's a good thing to bring children here to see what happens that affects them as they become older. Thank you, Judge.
Commissioner Marksberry.
Thank you, Judge. So in November of 2020. Sorry, I didn't think I was on. In November of 2020, the decision was made by the Fiscal Court to create our spay-neuter clinic and hire a full-time veterinarian. This was a great decision that has provided a huge benefit to our county, and I'm excited to see what the coming year will bring. Yesterday, we were informed by staff about some exciting statistics regarding our performance at the Daviess County Animal Shelter. We show huge improvement in the rates of euthanasia of shelter animals. In 2008, the shelter euthanized 54% of all dogs and 88% of all cats coming into the shelter. In 2023, those rates have dropped to 7% for dogs and 20% for cats. This is an amazing turnaround, and it is due to the hard work of our shelter staff and all our devoted volunteers. I just want to give a big shout out and thank you to Dr. Gray, Director Ashley, the staff, and to all who volunteer to make the animal shelter a better place. You are local heroes. This month, I'm going to travel to Frankfurt with Dr. Gray to attend the 2024 Kentucky Animal Welfare Summit. I'm very excited to learn about the latest ideas that will help us provide even better support for our animal shelter. The other two things I would like to talk about is there were 2 articles in the paper these past few days about the library and one about the senior center. That is why I'm speaking to those issues tonight. The library. There was an article in the paper today where the director of the Daviess County Public Library said they spent $35,000 responding to a citizens group protesting certain library materials. While the $35,000 reported in the paper may seem like a lot of money, it represents a tiny fraction of the library's nearly $6 million budget. And in my view, is a small price to pay as first step to improve accountability to the taxpayers. It would have been nice if Ms. Waller had been asked if the $35,000 was paid overtime to the staff, or was this simply part of the normal salary already being paid to the employees? The library is a taxing authority, so it's natural that taxpayers want to see transparency and accountability over how the library operates. I feel the library has operated with very little oversight or accountability to the public over the years, and the time has come for that to change. Another issue I would like to address is the senior center. I have been in conversations with a special task force organized to search for a new location for the Senior Citizens Center. They have found a location, and they have presented it to members of the city government, who is in charge of the Senior Citizens Center, and also to members of the fiscal court, who is also offering to support the seniors' wishes without placing restrictions. It is my understanding that the location proposed by a majority of the task force may possibly be dismissed once again by city officials. It appears that city officials will only support the seniors if they can keep them where they are or dictate to them where they will place their new center. This is very unfortunate because it appears that nothing has changed and nothing will change until the city will actually start listening to the seniors instead of dictating to them where their center should go. We have delayed this long enough. It's time for the city to put the seniors first. It's time. A little reminder. Thank you.
Commissioner Castlen.
I just want to remind everybody that February is also American Heart Month, so please be sure to get your tickers checked and taken care of. Take care of yourself.
Well, the only thing I want to say is we've got, February is also Valentine's Day. So I just want to wish everybody a happy Valentine's Day and enjoy it when the day comes. And with that, we don't have anything else I'm missing. I gavel out too early sometimes. All right. Without further business, this meeting is adjourned.